So I've been editing full-time for 7 years. I started on Final Cut Pro, then switched to Premiere Pro for 5 years, then back to Final Cut Pro for a year. It worked, right? I mean, I guess it got the job done. Then I switched to Davinci Resolve. Why? Because it's just better. Now, I hate jumping on this train of Davinci Resolve, and I've actually talked trash on Davinci Resolve in the past. I thought that it was just a fad and everyone was hopping on. It was a trend, and I was just like, everyone just please shut up about Davinci Resolve. But I just got fed up with Premiere Pro, with Final Cut Pro, and that's how this happened. So if you're an editor and you're struggling to find the right software, if you're frustrated of constantly feeling like you need to switch or not happy with your software, then this video will save you time, money, and honestly, just a ton of frustration. Also, in addition to that, if you're just tired of crashes, Premiere Pro, slow workflows, or just feeling stuck with software that doesn't do what you need it to do, then I'm going to show you why Davinci Resolve is probably the solution for you. Probably the solution that you didn't know you needed, or maybe you did if you're watching this. Because from a bird's eye point of view, it's just faster, more reliable, and honestly, it just makes editing easier. So as I said, I started on Final Cut Pro when I started as a video editor 7 years ago, and it was good, but I felt like I outgrew it quickly. So then I moved to Premiere Pro. It was more professional, but as we all know, I mean, I have to say it, guys. I'm sorry, it's cliche, but the crashes. Of course, that's why I just couldn't bear Premiere Pro anymore. And Premiere Pro, one time, I lost a full project like more than halfway in, and that was my breaking point. So because of that, I went back to Final Cut Pro, and it was actually better this time around with the new update. It was stable, there were some really cool effects, and I felt like, yeah, Final Cut Pro is really catching up. But I felt like they stopped innovating to a certain degree. I felt like it was just falling behind, right? I just felt like Apple just really didn't care that much about their editors, whereas Premiere Pro, despite them being a very buggy software, they are constantly trying to listen to creators and come out with new, really cool AI features. Final Cut Pro just wasn't really doing that, in my opinion. In fact, I even considered going back to Premiere Pro this last couple months because of the new AI features. But then in a moment of desperation, I looked into Davinci Resolve, and I've always disliked Davinci Resolve because I've tried it years ago and I just felt like it was clunky and it was ugly, and I just wasn't a huge fan of any of it. The interface, I wasn't a huge fan of the way it worked at all. But things have completely changed over the years, and Davinci Resolve is completely different. Davinci Resolve literally combines the best of Final Cut Pro and Premiere Pro in one software. It's like having everything you need in one place. It's insane. And this leads me to the first reason I moved to Davinci Resolve, auto transcription. And I know before you click off, you're like, dude, come on, auto transcription, really? Just bear with me, because this feature will help you be a better editor, a better storyteller. Imagine you're editing a video and you remember that there was a brilliant line that someone said at the beginning of that video, right? And now you're at the end, and you know that if you could find that line again or a similar line, it would close that curiosity loop and be able to have a callback to that initial clip in the beginning that we want to do a callback to, and it would create a really cool story moment for the viewer, right? You know this clip would perfectly tie into the end of your video, but you have no idea where it is, right? You scroll, you scan, you sift through your media browser and waste hours just scrubbing through clips, not being able to find it. Well, with Davinci Resolve's auto transcription feature, that problem, it's history. And I know some of you are maybe not editing such big projects, but for example, with the YouTube documentary type stuff that I edit frequently, I've spent, I kid you not, hours trying to find certain lines I remember hearing and trying to create these story loops, closing off these curiosity loops by having a callback at the end of the video to something that was in the beginning, and spending, I kid you not, hours looking for this clip in Final Cut Pro, not being able to find it at the end of the day, and it would just be so frustrated and so just discouraged. But Davinci Resolve has changed that, and Premiere Pro has it too. With Davinci Resolve, it's faster and more accurate than Premiere Pro's transcribe feature, and I know because I've tested this. And let me tell you, it doesn't just save time, this feature. As I said, this whole example I gave you, it makes you a better storyteller. When you're crafting that video and you have a payoff at the end that hinges on something you said in the beginning, it's gonna be game-changing for you. All you need to do this is type in the keyword into the transcription feature, and then boom, it takes you right to that moment you're looking for. You could literally sift through storylines in seconds seamlessly, and you as the editor with your keyboard or whatever you're editing with, if you have a color board or whatever, it's just like you're orchestrating a symphony. It comes together so beautifully. But transcription, that's just the tip of the iceberg. We need to talk about my second reason for moving, which is the editing tab workflow. Listen, one of the most amazing things about Davinci Resolve is the fact that you do not need multiple softwares or multiple programs to get your job done. Everything you need is built right into Davinci. Resolve isn't just an editing software, it's literally an all-in-one powerhouse. And I really, like, I knew this, but I didn't understand it until I got Davinci and started playing around with it, right? You have the edit tab, which handles your timeline work, what you're most used to, right? This is most similar to Premiere Pro to Final Cut Pro. Then you have the cut tab, which is perfect for quick edits. I hated the cut tab at first. I learned it. I spent the time to learn it. I love it now. The color tab, again, was intimidated by it, didn't like it. Now I love it. It gives you industry-leading color grades. It's insane, right? And then the Fairlight tab, again, something I was intimidated by, but when I learned it, I was like, oh my goodness, the things I could do with my sound effects and my music is game-changing. I'm gonna stand out on YouTube as an editor because of this. And then you have the Fusion tab, which lets you literally create anything you could create in After Effects, right? 3D stuff, motion graphics, titles, all kinds of cool stuff. It's a node-based workflow, and it's also intimidating, extremely intimidating, but I literally took one day to learn Fusion, and I feel already so much more comfortable and confident in Fusion. Like, in fact, I was actually able to get rid of After Effects, Premiere Pro, and Media Composer, which are all separate apps that I needed for my projects, all for one video. And now I only need one software. And honestly, that's just refreshing, to say the least. With Davinci Resolve, it's all in one place, and it's amazing, honestly. I appreciate this so much. And the more I dove into this all-in-one workflow, the more I realized how much time and energy it saved me. Which brings me to the next reason I love Davinci Resolve and I switched to Davinci Resolve, which is project workflow, or the way we save our projects. What we're used to doing is typical project saving workflow, right? You get into Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro, create a new project, you save it to your external hard drive or wherever you save your files, and it's all contained within that file, right? Per project. So if I'm working on X video, Y video, and Z video, right? I have X, Y, and Z project for each of those videos. But here's the problem with that. It gets messy. If you want to go back to older projects, you're hunting through files and folders, trying to remember where you saved that one version. And if something gets misplaced, forget about it, right? Like, you're done. Good luck tracking that down. So Davinci Resolve has something called a database workflow when it comes to projects. And at first, again, this is something I hated with a passion, but then I took the time to understand it. You know, there's a saying, comfort is the enemy of growth and discomfort where you learn to thrive, right? And I gotta tell you, at first I was uncomfortable with this, and I just said, take the time to learn it. I learned it, and now I feel like I'm thriving as an editor, and I love this. I love it so much. You see, Davinci Resolve's database system, it did feel like a huge shift, yes. Something new and something unfamiliar. And I wasn't sure I liked it, as I said, but once I started using it, I realized it was way more efficient, a way more efficient way to work. And here's why. With Davinci Resolve, everything's organized in one database, right? So you can store multiple projects, multiple timelines, multiple versions, multiple assets even, in one central location. So there's no more digging through folders or hard drives, worrying about losing a file. Everything you need is right there in their cloud database, neatly organized and easily accessible. And the best part is you can back up your entire database, so if your machine crashes, you don't lose everything. It's literally like moving from a messy desktop or desk to a perfectly organized filing cabinet. And once I got used to this database system, now I can't imagine going back, because it saves me time, it reduces the chaos and the stress, it gives me peace of mind knowing everything's stored in one place, and for that, well, that's just irreplaceable. Now, the database, though, isn't the only thing that took some getting used to for me. We really need to talk about how Davinci actually performs, especially compared to Premiere Pro. And that was the third reason I decided to switch, was the performance. And with Final Cut Pro, performance was fine. It was great. I used to think, though, with Premiere Pro, that crashes were just a part of the editing. I'd have to hit save after every tiny change like I was walking on eggshells. I lived in constant stress and anxiety. And with Davinci Resolve, that anxiety is gone. Like, even on massive projects now, Resolve, it's just stable. And you know, when we talk about speed, it handles 4K, it handles 8K footage like nothing. Even on machines that would send other softwares into literally meltdown mode. I mean, luckily I have the fully spec'd out MacBook Pro, but if I didn't, I know I would be fine. And think about that as an editor. Like, imagine not losing hours of work because of a random crash. Imagine renders that don't make you literally want to just cry or give up or quit. That's Resolve. But what really sold me on Davinci Resolve even more, it wasn't just the performance, it was the people behind it. A company that listens. Blackmagic Design, which is the company that owns, it's the company behind Davinci Resolve, they actually listen to their editors. When users suggest features, they don't ignore them, they don't stockpile on them, they implement them. But they don't just implement them, they do it in a really, like, every time they come out with a new feature, I feel like it's just so fleshed out, like they really worked hard on it. And compare that to Apple, which seems to have forgotten about Final Cut Pro, or Adobe, which seems way more focused on subscriptions than solutions. But with Davinci, you feel like you're a part of a community. It's really like it's actively shaping the future of editing. And I truly believe that. I think that the industry standard of video editing on web editing and in film editing, I genuinely believe that it's all going to migrate to Davinci. And it's not just the big features that make a difference, in the little things. And that's why I have reason 6, which is the little things, which is essentially just a rapid fire of all the extra things that I love and reasons why I switched to Davinci. Davinci Resolve, it's packed with features that seem really small and minute, but make a massive impact on your speed of editing. Things like digital zoom that just feel buttery smooth, intuitive captions that are easy to work with, game-changing tools like voice isolation for cleaning up audio, which is really good, by the way. And these are the details that just make editing faster, make it easier, and honestly just more fun. I don't have to be so stressed when I edit. I can be more creative. I feel like I can let my mind come up with ideas without having to feel limited with my software. So if you've ever just wanted to absolutely punch a hole through your computer because of, you know, the software you're using, then you're gonna love this next part, right? Which is another reason, the media bin. The media bin in Davinci it's a revelation, honestly. It's not just a place to dump your footage, it's an organized, accessible powerhouse. You can tag, you can sort, you can find your assets instantly, which means less time searching, more time creating. And because it integrates super seamlessly with the rest of the workflow, everything just works, just clicks. Now, I know Premiere Pro does have a really good organization feature. I just hate little things about it. Like, for example, every time I work on motion graphics or bring in a plugin, it just creates this extra motion graphic media in my media bin that always seems to just frustrate me. I don't know if I have OCD or something. Now, before I wrap this up, let me hit you again with a rapid fire round of bonus features or reasons to consider Davinci Resolve. Oh, some of these are cliche, and I wanted to avoid them because you've already heard this a million times, but the color tab, it's unmatched, right? You get Hollywood level grading tools at your fingertips. In fact, just back here, I have the Davinci site open. It's literally playing all of the Hollywood films that have color graded with Davinci Resolve. So that's just proof in the pudding, right? The next thing is collaboration. Like, I've recently started collaborating with other editors more and more on projects, and man, does Davinci make it easy to work with teams. Whether you're remote or in-house, it is just an enjoyable experience. Also, it's free to start, and even the paid version costs less than a year of Adobe subscription. It's only like $300 for the paid, which, by the way, I got the paid one pretty much instantly just because of how much I love Davinci, but I could have easily used the free version of Davinci Resolve for my projects with a few plugins, like no problem. They don't do watermarks and anything. Like Davinci Resolve, it is amazing. And finally, Davinci Resolve just lets you grow, right? Whether you're climbing the ladder in the film industry or leveling up your YouTube channel, Davinci Resolve, it's just there for you. And those are the reasons that I decided to make the switch to Davinci Resolve after 7 years of editing in other softwares, and why you might want to make the switch as well. So if you've been stuck in decision paralysis about your editing software, give Davinci Resolve a shot. It's free to start, and you will save time, you will save money, and most importantly, your sanity. And I'm not sponsored by Davinci at all, or they're not, giving me anything for free to say this. I am actually genuinely someone who disliked Davinci, and now I'm obsessed with Davinci. So much so that I just want like all of the Blackmagic accessories to go with the Davinci software and everything else. Now, if you guys want to learn exactly how I would learn how to edit again if I started over today, then watch this video right here.